Investing in property is far easier if you use a management agent to run the day-to-day operations for you. But like anything, it comes at a cost, but is it worth the money?
We'll tell you how much I'm paying for my property agent, what service packages agents typically provide, how you can save money on your fees, and what jobs you should be really doing yourself. Let's check it out.
Welcome to Money Unshackled, the investment channel that sets you and your finances free. I'm Andy, this is Ben, and if you like what we say, hit the like button and click subscribe. Let's get into it.
Passive income. Those of you who follow the teachings of Rich Dad Poor Dad like we do will be familiar with his golden rule for building wealth: passive income. Check out his book, which is linked in an Amazon affiliate link below in the description, as alongside other ways of supporting the channel, such as a £50 cashback when you sign up to Funding Circle. Passive income is how the rich get rich. Your income is passive when you no longer have to work for it to come in each month.
An investment property can either be passive or active. It can take little to none of your time if you use a management agent to run things, or it can be like a second job if you do everything yourself. Whether you use an agent or not will boil down to the price that you value your time at.
What services do they provide? A lettings agency will typically offer a landlord two types of package: tenant sourcing or full management. Tenant sourcing. Tenant sourcing involves finding a tenant, so doing all the marketing and advertising for your property and meeting up with and showing tenants around your house. They will also perform rigorous background checks on the tenant, typically using an outsourced referencing company. They will also draw up the legal contracts and get the tenant to the point of moving in.
The tenant sourcing service tends to cost a one-off fee of around £360 per new tenancy. Any other services that you may require, such as call-outs, will be chargeable as one-off fees. Full management. The other service is full management and is a combination of the tenant sourcing service just discussed and full management of the property after the tenant has moved in. This is a passive approach and the one we prefer.
This service also has the upfront fee per tenancy, which will be in the region of £360. Plus an ongoing management commission percentage fee, which tends to range in the region of 10% to 15% inclusive of VAT. My agent's standard rate is 12% inclusive of VAT, but because I have a portfolio, I have been able to negotiate that down to 10%. Any lower and it wouldn't really be worth the agent's time, and you want to have a motivated agent.
Total cost.
My total cost per house for agent's fees after all fees and taxes turns out at about £70 per house. For context, this brings the average return on investment on the rental income on any one of my houses down from about 13.5% to about 11%. This is just a normal house, not a HMO. This, of course, is before the return on investment on capital growth, which we have discussed in other videos, which is also around 10%, so 21% overall. This is still a decent return and is worth turning your investments passive.
So is it worth it? We think it is, even though £70 adds up to quite a lot of money over a larger portfolio. Consider this: as your portfolio grows, how many call-outs will you have to make, and is that worth it to you?
One house might need in a year 3 visits to show new tenants round, 1 visit to sign one up and exchange keys, 4 quarterly scheduled property condition checks, 2 visits to assess reported maintenance issues. That equals 10 visits per house per year. That's 10 visits! Once you have 5 properties, that will be 50 visits, and then at this point you'll be visiting the house on average every weekend, and not always at convenient times.
Not to mention all the phone calls that you have to take from tenants all day and night, and all the phone calls that you have to make chasing up late rental payments. And worst of all, if a tenant stops paying rent, you have to evict them.
My agent includes in his fee an eviction service. If a tenant is 21 days in paying late, a letter will be issued to them expressing legal intent, and if they need to be evicted, all legal costs and time spent discussing with solicitors will be managed by my agent.
It's still expensive. Can I cut those fees further? Of course you can. You are essentially employing your agent to work for you, and you can negotiate their pay down, but they'll want to do less work in return.
For example, you could increase your risk slightly by getting rid of certain services such as the eviction service that I just mentioned, which would reduce your fee, or you can do some things yourself like the quarterly visits. You might want to do these yourself anyway, so that you can get a good idea of how well the property is being maintained without having to take your agent's word for it.
Money saving tip. Management agents are a great resource for quality tradesmen such as plumbers, handymen and the like, but you may have to pay up to 50% more than the market rate because of the convenience factor. If you can build your own team of trusted tradesmen, then you can hand over this list to your management agent and they'll then call them instead of their own, saving you money.
Another money saving tip is that often agents might throw in a rent protection cover for an extra couple of % of commission, often plus VAT. Some insurance products will provide rental cover for you at a much cheaper cost. Conclusion. On this channel we promote financial freedom. You are only financially free when all of your income is passive. If I were to manage all of my property portfolio myself, like I used to, I would in effect be paying myself £70 per house in order to be my own property agent, potentially a full-time job.
Remember to interview lots of agents before you choose one, do lots of research and remember to look at quality as well as price. This is the most important part of your power team.
Question of the day. Do you intend on using a property agent to run your empire? Let us know in the comments section.
Thanks for watching. On this channel we talk a lot about personal finance, investing and all things money. And if you want to see more great content, please click the subscribe button below.
This is Money Unshackled. See you next time.